You! Get your hand out of your pants.
Please put your tray table up. Put the crack pipe down.
You're the least without sin person I know.
Errol, we are on the air right now.
Oh, I was digging for gold.
Wow! That's what's eating Gilbert Grape, my friends.
Well, listen, call me casual, but I love to take my time.
I don't know where your head ends and this weird turtleneck sweater begins.
Speaking of which, whatever happened to that porn star you were dating?
Oh my God, it's huge.
And now,
It's West.
by Midwest.
Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2013. This is episode 43 of West by Midwest. My name is Chuck Anchori. I'm broadcasting live from Los Angeles, California.
My name is Errol Gribble. I'm broadcasting live from Lansing, Michigan. And we have our producer, Rob Hubbard, broadcasting live from
Chelsea, Michigan.
Chelsea, Michigan.
Nice.
So we've got Chuck Anchori in one of the greatest cities in the world, and Rob and Errol from two places nobody's heard of. Folks, we're on Google Plus Hangouts recording live as we speak. If you like our Facebook page for the link, you will see it. We'll post it on Mondays where we normally hang out on Monday nights. But somebody was lollygagging around Disneyland last night and couldn't record the podcast.
We had to postpone the show till Tuesday because I was having a gay old time in Disneyland and just running around with Mickey and friends. And
You had your friend in town, yeah? Steve Sarmiento was in town.
Steve Sarmiento was still here, so we had to go to the happiest place on earth. Thank the Lord that our guest was flexible enough.
Yeah, man.
I told our guest that it was something more important than that.
Oh,
You just blew it.
Oh, it is not.
It just got real. She's going to totally just disconnect from the show. Oh, my God.
That's it. We just lost our guest.
Oh, wow. Guys, and if you missed the recording live, usually on Mondays, tonight on Tuesday, you can find the current episode as well as some of our past episodes on iTunes. Just search West X Midwest on iTunes. This podcast is brought to you by Ed Grabo. Ed Grabo, the best a man can get.
Grabo. Thank you, Ed Grabo. Folks, so like we were talking about, we have a lovely guest this week. Stick around. Playwright Melissa Gawlowski is coming on the show. The second half, she's going to tell her tale of reunited family members and Russian reality TV. It is a story you do not want to miss.
If she's still here.
If she's still here after Chuck fucking bailing because of Disneyland. Did you get to hug Goofy? What happened?
We met Mickey Mouse, that's for sure.
Did you?
Hung out, Small World, Pirates, Indiana Jones.
Awesome.
It was a wonderful holiday time at Disneyland.
And now you're on the second happiest place on earth.
West by Midwest.
Midwest.
Before we go any further here, we need to make an announcement.
Yes, folks, it's not today, but tomorrow, folks.
Tomorrow, December 4th, is our producer Rob Hubbard's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Robbie Hubbard.
Oh,
Happy 45th birthday, Rob
46 years young.
Hubbard. 59 years young.
You remembered. Thanks, guys.
Did you think we didn't remember?
Yeah, I thought maybe you forgot. I was trying
We
to
usually
squeeze
forget.
by.
Just because I always forget every year? Wait, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is December 4th?
Tomorrow is December 4th.
Yeah, and I always think it's December 8th.
Really?
What?
Yeah, I'll always, like, before Facebook was invented, I would, like, call Rob 4 days late and be like, happy birthday. He's like, thanks, it was 4 days ago.
Yeah,
Like,
but listen,
every year.
Facebook's been around for several years now, and you're still...
I still do it. Damn it. So, Rob, what do you got planned for the birthday? What do you want for your birthday?
Puppy.
Besides this podcast to keep going. Even though Chuck and I are hoping it'll die.
I would appreciate any form of money. That would be...
Listeners, if you
all
hear
I could
that,
ask.
money, because we don't have any.
Yeah, next.
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 But Rob's having a huge party at
a bash.
Buffalo Wild Wings on
when is
Sunday
that?
night.
Sunday?
Sunday afternoon during the Lions game, right?
during the Lions game. Lions-Eagles.
All right.
So if you're available, come on down, folks. Ann Arbor's Buffalo Wild Wings right on State Street, and give Rob Hubbard some money.
Yeah, wear your Philly gear.
Wear your
Do
fucking
not
Philly
wear
gear.
your Philly gear.
Support those Eagles, baby. Go out there.
Or if you do wear your Philly gear, make it that god-awful throwback shit that they wear.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't
yeah,
want
This
sports.
is not a sports
terrible-
podcast.
This is not
Terrible
a sports
throwback
podcast.
uniforms.
So, moving on. Hey, so speaking of special
birthday,
events, happy birthday, Rob. So, right, we just had Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I'm
happy
thankful for you
Thanksgiving.
guys. I'm thankful to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm thankful for our guest this week. Whatever. But it's also that time of year where people start decorating their houses, and
Yeah. We're full swing right now.
Right. So, but it hit me this year. Like the last couple of years, we have put up a little tree and done whatever. But this year, like, I don't think we're gonna do it.
What?
And I just thought about, like, if you don't have a family, like, is there really a reason to decorate for the holiday?
Of course there is, man. It just brings that holiday spirit to your home. Just brings all the memories of Christmases past.
Yeah, but don't
And-
you want, like, those memories happen when you're with the family? So you, like, like, when I go to my parents' house or whatever, they'll have their Christmas tree up, but, like, I'm hanging out at my house. I'm not doing any Christmas stuff there. Like,
Where do you put the presents?
we don't have any presents.
Yet?
Where are we, like, I'll have, like, 2 presents, one for my mom and one for, like, the Secret Santa family member. And that's it. Like, my nieces and nephews and everybody else, like, that's all getting sent to them.
Well, the only
Through
reason
Amazon drone.
Amazon drones are sending dropping it right on their heads.
Right. So I'm not going to have stuff under my tree for me to open. Like, I mean, Lynn and I might give each other gifts, but what, you don't think?
No, ever since I've moved out of my home, I've always had a little Christmas tree and
Just you. Like, you alone in an apartment and a Christmas tree.
hell yeah, I got those lights up. The tree this year I don't have any of my stuff up yet because I've had a couple of house guests come through and I just haven't had time to put my stuff up yet. But by now, yeah, I would have had my lights up, my Christmas tree. Got a little Michael Jackson angel that sits on top of the tree.
That's worth it. Worth it. Rob, let me ask you, when you were living alone, right, did you have a Christmas tree?
Usually. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't.
Oh, Phil Ashbrook, who's hanging out with us live, just said, Errol, you and Lynn better have a tree when I get there.
You see, people are going to come through and visit your home. They want the warmth and the spirit.
You know what? They can set it up then, all right? And they can tear it down because my ass ain't doing it.
Bah
I got
humbug,
shit to do.
Errol Gribble says.
Errol Gribble says bah humbug. You know what else I say bah humbug about?
What?
I found out, I don't know if any of our listeners knew about this, but over the holiday weekend, there was the producer of The Bachelorette and stuff.
Yeah.
He posted these tweets about
Elin
this
Gale.
annoying woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Diane.
Yeah.
All
Quote,
that
unquote,
shit's
Diane.
fake.
Fake. I'm thankful for fucking bullshit all over the internet that we have to
man.
believe
Like, I
in.
was genuinely inspired by that.
Right.
I was like,
Good
hell
for
yeah.
you, Elin Gale.
Good for you. Next time I'm on a plane, I'm gonna be like, hey, I know I'm fat. Move over. Like,
Stand up for yourself and everybody else around you. But no, nobody's actually doing any of that shit. It's all garbage and bullshit. Lies.
it makes
I
me.
don't know.
But so what happened? Like, did somebody?
No,
Because there were pictures of stuff, right?
Well, no, he was finally, like, today, he was just like, he tweeted out so many questions unanswered about Diane. In 15 minutes, I will post the photo, and hopefully we can all resolve this. And then, in a tweet, like, shortly thereafter,
Right.
he posted a picture of a chair and nothing in it. So everyone was like, oh. I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's
that
the
was
same
it.
thing that Clint Eastwood did at the Republican National Convention.
right, quite a
It's
little
like-
different, but he was like,
Fucking talking to an empty chair.
God. And this is crazy because I don't know if you remember this story, Errol, but there was a gay female server who had claimed that a couple didn't leave her a tip and left this derogatory.
Oh, yeah. Right, this
thing.
Uber judgy McJudgy thing.
Yeah, on the tip line or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was exposed as fake as well because the couple came forward and they even brought their credit card statements and they were like, yeah, we totally tipped this lady. Same date, same restaurant. You know what I mean?
What?
Like they had all the proof, and yeah, that was totally a scam. Like, what are we supposed to believe here?
What can we believe? And there were pictures to go along with Diane's tweets, like notes from Diane. What did he do? Have the guy next to him forge Diane's note?
Right, yeah, or he wrote it with his left hand or some shit.
Something, right?
Have you ever forged your parents' signature or anything like that?
I did. When I was in first grade. First or second grade. I was a baby. And the thing is, I was a super good kid. I'm not like I am now. I'm a horrible excuse for a human being now. Back then, I was straight A student, the adorable little kid who was teacher's pet. But I was supposed to spend the night at my friend's house for the weekend and take his bus home. Remember how you needed a note to take your friend's bus to get on a bus that wasn't yours?
Yeah, have permission, definitely.
Gotta have permission. Well, my mom forgot to write the note before she went off to school. She was taking classes at school at the time, getting her teacher degree. So she forgot to fill out the note. And my friend was like, dude, you got to come home with me. What's going on?
Come over, yeah.
And I was like, I don't have the note. And he was like, it's cool. We'll just forge it.
Ooh.
So I did. I was like, please let Errol ride bus number whatever home with Jason. Thank you. And I think I signed it like Mrs. Gribble.
That's what I wanted to ask. Was it a mix of you're just learning cursive and
Yeah.
Just
so it was the best cursive I could do is the signature. So it was printed and then just a signature.
And that's hilarious. I used to forge my parents on signatures on demerits and whatnot when I get in trouble.
Really?
But my mom and my dad have incredibly difficult signatures to forge.
So did you get found out?
Well, a couple times, yeah. But there was one time I think I got away with it.
Every time, because that was the first time, and then I was like, I'm never doing it again. But then high school came around, and I was hanging out with these kids who were total badass, and we're like, yeah, skip school. And so I remember forging a note and doing I thought was an amazing job, but because they knew my mother so well at the school, they were like, hey, Kathy,
Busted.
this ain't your signature. Busted.
Wow. Well,
also, I could skip school and steal a can of ravioli.
Chef Boyardee?
That's right. That's a long story. Anyway, so you know what? Something that isn't fake, though?
Are you sure? I mean, Rob said, we don't know, what's fake. Even if it's exposed as fake, we don't even know if that's real or not.
Right? No, this for sure is real. The Tips for Jesus Instagram account. Have you heard about this?
No, what's Tips for Jesus?
Yes, Mysterious Tips for Jesus leaves thousands of dollars for people. And just recently, here in Ann Arbor, they did it at a couple of different bars.
What, the servers are getting these tips?
Absolutely. Yeah. Tips for Jesus is an Instagram account gaining in popularity that shows photos of receipts with huge tips ranging from $500 to $10,000.
Holy shit!
Yeah, including photos of some lucky servers holding the receipts and smiling. The account reads, quote, doing the Lord's work, one tip at a time.
What?
So,
oh my God.
Jesus loves tipping, apparently, which is actually cool, right? It's the opposite of the really shitty tip from the Christians, which the
fake shitty tip.
Hey, Brenda Lehman is hanging out with us.
What?
Yay! Hi, Brenda Lehman.
Lehman's on the show.
I believe she was at the ravioli incident.
Really?
Where we were skipping school and stealing ravioli. Anyway, so the Instagram account started in September with a photo of a receipt from Bar Louie, and the most recent surprise tip was $5,000 for a bill of $576.50.
What? Oh my God!
On November 30th at a bar in Washington. It's unclear who's behind the Tips for Jesus Instagram account, but the Alley Bar co-owner, Alley Bar is the bar in Ann Arbor, the co-owner, Robbie Schultz, said it's a group of people who want to stay anonymous. He says it's one group. They're big college football fans, so I think you'll see some of the tips following different football games, but they do travel around. I think it's a group of guys that live in different parts of the country, but it's one person who fuels it. One of the guys has been very successful, and they said it's his way to redistribute some wealth and make him happy to make people's nights. I think it's as simple as that, says Schultz.
What the hell? Listen, people, Tips for Jesus. I know that we don't, my restaurant isn't a sports bar, but please come in and give me a $10,000 tip. Please, it's Christmas.
Right, even like a $400 tip.
God damn it, dude.
Yeah, so what they do is they go in, they rack up a bunch of stuff, and make like a huge tab, which in Ann Arbor is like $90. Like that's about as much as you can spend. But then they'll leave some ridiculous tip. At first they thought it said $2,000. There was one that at Bar Louie, they thought it said $2,000, right, or at the Alley Bar, one of the two. And then they looked the next day and they were like, no, that's a 7. Or no, the guy had to call. He called and was like, no, I left you 7, not 2,000.
Wow. So some guy is just like paying these people to leave these tips?
Oh, yeah, or he's doing it himself.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Tips for Jesus, please.
Tips for Jesus.
Help me out. Well, I mean, and are the people that receive these tips required to become Christians, or what? Why is it tips for Jesus?
Right? That's what I want to know. There's got to be some kind of Jesus string attached.
Like, we're not going to see these people again? What happens?
No, I think they just, he's trying to spread a little real Jesus love,
Yeah, well, I love Jesus, so please leave me a tip that big.
Speaking of sizes.
Speaking of big tips.
Speaking of big, a recent study came out, not so much a study, but a poll that was done based on
the tips.
The type of condoms that were sold, but it's penis sizes by state.
Oh.
So, you want to see how your state measures up?
Hell yeah! What do we got here? What are you gonna give us the top 10 or what's?
Well, yeah, we'll start with the top 10, right? Okay. So, number 1. No, we'll do it from the bottom to up, just like fucking.
Started from the bottom.
Start from the bottom. All right, just like Letterman. Ooh.
Just like
number 10, South Carolina.
Okay.
Make no mistake, South Carolinians love peaches and gamecocks. Number 9, New York.
All right.
From so our friend Melissa Gawlowski.
The Empire State.
Has probably a giant penis. Number 8, Alabama.
Okay.
Number 7, Arizona. Those cactuses ain't the only things that grow big. Number 6, Ohio.
Whoa! Ohio. See?
There's an old joke that says, "What's the only thing that grows in Cleveland? Enormous penises."
That's correct.
Number 5, Massachusetts.
Okay. Boston.
Boston. Number 4, Washington, D.C.
All right.
I mean, you've got the big Washington Monument to compare yourself to. You gotta. Number 3, South Dakota.
Well, there's nothing else to do in South Dakota but
stare at Mount Rushmore and grow your penis big.
All right.
And number 2, Rhode Island.
What? The smallest state has the second biggest penises?
That is correct. Wow. And then number 1, biggest penises in America, North Dakota.
No, the Dakotas.
The Dakotas.
Just horse cocks all over the Dakotas.
Rising high on the Great Plains. Just.
Wow. Okay, so where did California measure up?
So California's doing okay. You're number 15.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad. A little better than average. It's about the size of your hand.
What about? Wait, where's
I don't know what average is. At Colorado, Rob.
Average is whatever I am.
That's right. Colorado is number 11.
That's pretty good.
So you should probably move back to Colorado.
Yeah, I think I will.
Because Michigan is 35.
35th?
Yeah, 35th.
Wow.
Yep. But you know, like Texas is 42.
I thought everything was big in Texas.
Yeah, guess not. One thing ain't. Alaska 46. But the best is like so Hawaii is second to last. Number 50, Hawaii. Prophetically, aloha means hello and goodbye. And the smallest penises, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Longest name.
Yeah.
Smallest penises.
Damn, interesting.
That's a shame.
All right, this is stupid. But yeah, it's based on like condom sales. So really, it just means like.
Yeah, it means that a bunch of fucking fakers in North and South Dakota are buying a bunch of fucking.
Buy me a large. I need a like. Come on.
Let me get the magnums. They're like,
Yeah. All right, Magnum. Why don't you be safe and get one that's snug and is not going to fall off during coitus? Man.
Wow.
So, yeah, moving right along. That was the dumbest. I don't know why we shared that story. It was so stupid. And this one's worse.
It was informative.
So, a man says he has no idea how meth got into his ice cream.
Into his ice cream?
Yeah, crystal meth.
Meth-flavored ice cream?
Meth-flavored ice cream. New at Baskin-Robbins.
32 flavors.
When Stephen Fitch was pulled over in Spokane Valley, Washington on November 29th, deputies noticed that he had a, quote, white creamy-looking substance on his hands.
That could be anything. Am I right?
All right. Well, there was a quote of vanilla caramel ice cream in the center console. Inside of that, the deputy found a baggie that later tested positive for methamphetamine. What's funny is when they interviewed the cop, and at first he was like, I didn't think there was anything about it. Like, the guy's just sitting there eating ice cream, like, not a big deal. Until I looked down, and that's when I saw the baggie.
Yeah.
So if he'd just been like, if he'd gotten a little better at, like, pushing the meth into the ice cream, it would have been fine.
He was all methed out, dude.
He was. He probably was trying to reach for it and like fish it out.
Yeah, put some more sprinkles of meth on his ice cream.
According to the police, Fitch tried to convince the deputy multiple times that he had no idea how the meth got into his ice cream.
Oh yeah, we know that. Oh, it's not mine.
These aren't my pants I'm wearing. Yeah. He was arrested and charged with possession of a controlled substance and driving with a suspended license. This is my favorite, though. He told the radio station that was interviewing him, that he does use meth, but only because he has low energy.
That'll do it. That'll help, huh?
Well, maybe if he didn't survive on a diet of vanilla caramel ice cream
and methamphetamines,
he'd have more energy. Maybe some broccoli, pal.
Eating kale salad.
Kale's out, dude.
Kale's done.
Kale's done. Nobody eats kale anymore.
You're still eating kale in 2014?
That's 2014, man.
Jesus Christ.
Let go of the kale.
A man was jailed for having sex with a goat and actually had to face the victim in court this week.
Whoa. You mean the goat?
The goat. Katana Kitsaugona, 28, last week admitted sexually abusing the animal in the Kenyan town of Malindi. The female goat watched quietly in the corner of the courtroom as her attacker was jailed for bestiality. He was caught when a local resident found him naked in a field having sex with the grazing goat, who was tied up. The goat's owner was alerted and arrived at the scene with other residents who also witnessed Gona having sex with the animal. He was arrested by police, and a medical examination confirmed sexual abuse had taken place. And that's
medical examination.
Yeah, exactly. And so, the goat was in the courtroom. The goat didn't actually like take the stand or anything. It wasn't like a 12-goat jury that was handing the sentence down on Gona or anything like that.
Oh man.
But the vet was the one who checked him out and was one of the experts.
She was the one who was like, yes, this goat has been defiled. They weren't like, excuse me, ma'am, is your attacker here in the courtroom today?
Point him out for us.
That is correct.
No. But yeah, the vet was there to
But here's what he said, though. Gona told the court that his wife is disabled and she depends on him, but he was nevertheless jailed for 10 years.
Yeah.
If your wife is disabled, I mean,
isn't that...
Why you fucking goats?
Yeah, why is it so hard? You can have your wife like any goat, dude. She's not...
I mean, that's not where I was going with it. That's horrible. You're like, what? She can't run. Just like a tied-up goat. That's horrible. Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't believe people are still fucking goats. You fuck one goat.
Yeah, fuck one goat. Next thing you know, you're in court.
Oh, man. So, folks, don't have sex with goats. If we've said it once, we've said it a million times on West by Midwest. Don't have sex with animals. Okay?
We know from experience. I mean,
they will point you out in court. You'll never get away with it.
They can be used as experts in court. Oh, fuck. Can we please bring our guest on now?
Yes.
Jesus
Now that we've completely ruined any reputation that we have as a respectable podcast, let's bring on a respectable guest. Ladies and gentlemen, professional playwright Melissa Gawlowski on the show.
Hello. How can I follow that? I'm not sure.
Don't worry. All that's going to get edited out. It'll just be you. It'll just go, hey, welcome to West by Midwest. Here's our guest, Melissa Gawlowski.
Goat, and then...
Goat.
So, Melissa Gawlowski, as I said, is a professional playwright living in New York City, but we know her. Rob and I went to school with her here in Michigan, and...
PHS.
At PHS, Pinckney High School, which is like half our fan base and audience base at this point.
Just a bunch of small penises running
around. 35's not bad, okay?
It's still commendable.
It's not the size.
It ain't Hawaii, I'll tell you that much.
I ain't Hawaii. Yeah, Melissa has since sort of moved on and is doing very well for herself. And I was in, I think, your first play.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, and it was my first dramatic role. We can talk about that later. But one of the reasons we have Melissa on the show is because recently you've had sort of a exciting family turn of events. It's like a little 15 minutes of fame. I mean, for this guy, not for you.
Oh, it's still going, my friend.
Your minutes of fame will never run out.
Call up the Ukraine and.
So you were on Ukraine TV.
Oh, well, I started on Russian reality TV, and then it has since moved to Kazakhstan.
Wow!
And more recently, Ukraine. Yes, I am. My story is just burning up Eastern Europe right now.
Just taking Eastern Europe by storm.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Okay. So it all started one day this summer. I got a message through my playwriting website. And it was from a gentleman named Timo Laakso from Finland. And Mr. Laakso emailed me and he said, do you know a man named Hilarish Gawlowski? Because if you do,
sure,
just send me a message and I'd like to talk to you. And so, of course, I'm like, okay, yeah, send me your bank account number.
Yeah,
and
you're
like, you have a whole inheritance just waiting for you.
Absolutely.
Here. So, but it looked kind of like my grandfather's name, and so I still figured it was a scam, but I was curious, so I was like, and so I emailed the guy cautiously, and he wrote back, and he was like, well, I work for this Russian TV show called Wait For Me.
What?
And yeah.
Wait For Me.
Yeah, and a man by the name of Vladislav Gawlowski is looking for your grandfather. And here's a link to the TV show. So I'm like, you know, and so then I clicked the link, and it took me to this Russian website, and then there was a photo of my grandparents and my dad when he was a boy and my aunt.
What?
I know! And so I was like, oh my God. And I'd seen that photo before, and so I was like, holy crap, this is for real. And and I knew that we had this sort of like long lost branch of family.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like it was actually legit, which was totally mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And so the family piece, historically, is that my grandfather's father, like in the late 1920s, there was the whole Russian Revolution that happened, you know, and they lived like in very eastern Poland. So anyway, he had a farm, and so they were like, "Oh, you are the bourgeoisie, and we are going to send you to Siberia." So so they arrested my great-grandfather and sent him to Siberia. It's crazy stuff, right? So he's in a work camp in Siberia. His wife had already passed away. It's just my grandfather and his sister and his aunt. Mm-hmm. And his sister goes out to visit her father and her husband, who's also been sent to Siberia, and she never returns. Whoa. And yeah, right? And so then my grandfather figures they just killed everyone on the train. Yeah. So like heavy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so then my great-grandfather is in Siberia for 8 years, and when he's finally released from this prison camp, he's too scared to go back to Poland because he thinks he's going to be put to death.
Sure.
Right.
So he meets a woman in Siberia, and they get married, and they move to southern Russia and become school teachers and start a life together. So then they have 2 kids, and they're like a generation apart from my grandfather. So he has a daughter that's like 5 years older than my dad, and a son who's 3 years older than my dad.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so then the son, so that's my dad's uncle, but they're kind of like the age of being cousins.
Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah. He is the one who has started looking for us.
Wow.
I know. Oh, and so then, like, in the 50s, my grandfather, like, via relatives in Poland, finds out that his dad is alive. He thought he was dead, right?
What?
They both thought the other person was dead because they had completely lost touch.
Yeah.
And so they were able to just exchange a photo with each other. So, they got a portrait of my great-grandfather and his kids and his wife. And then my grandfather sent to them a photo of himself, my grandmother, and my dad and my aunt. And that's the photo that was on the Russian website.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Crazy.
I know.
Series of events.
Right?
So then continue.
Oh, so I'm like, well, now I have this uncle, you know, and so then Timo, so I'm like, I confirmed that this is my family, and he was like, oh, good, job well done. I will put you in touch with this reality
job well
show
done.
now.
So Russian. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, you have done well. We will make you famous.
Yeah, and so he's like, so now this Russian show is going to be contacting you, and so they did, and she was like, so we would like to come to New York and film you and your parents for our show. Yeah, and they were like, also, you know, if you want to come to Russia, you're welcome to come as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I was like, well, yes.
Yeah.
You know, especially because I've known about this family, and like I've known since I was a kid about this family, and when my husband Dan and I, when we went on our honeymoon, we went to Poland, and I hoped to somehow find them, and I was like asking around if anyone had any information about them anymore, but no one had anything anymore. And so it was just so powerful to me that I had been looking for them, and just because of the power of the internet and Timo Loxo, that they were able to find me, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
It was crazy. And so it was this like whirlwind process of like getting visas, which is a total pain in the butt, FYI, if you want to go to Russia. It's horrible.
No, I know.
And really expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. and we had to like rush them because there were all these like administrative delays on the part of the show.
Oh,
And
right.
so it was a little.
They're
crazy.
like, look, Russian TV waits for no one. Okay.
I know, and then actually, they were like, oh, by the way, like this is about a week before the show was gonna. So we bought our tickets. We decided we're gonna do it and just figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
My brothers agreed they're gonna come too. And Dan's coming with me, and we all like have our tickets and stuff. And then they're like, oh, so also, we said we're gonna shoot the show on this day, but actually we're gonna shoot it a day earlier. So if you can fly in a day earlier,
Oh my God!
that'd be great. And I was like, are you kidding? I can't change it.
Dang.
They're like, oh, you're American, you're rich.
I know. And so they're like, it's fine, right? And I'm like, no, it's not fine. And
Wow.
so they were like, all right, well, okay, we'll do it the day that you get there, but you're gonna have to like rush from the airport and be on the show immediately, kind of
Wow.
thing. Yeah, and so
Kind of like West by Midwest. We were like, hey, listen, I'm busy today. Can you come tomorrow?
exactly like that. See,
You're used to it.
fully exactly. It's all I roll with it now.
Anyway, so you fly out there.
So I fly out there, and like, you know, we get off the plane, we run to this express train that takes us to central Moscow, and, you know, take that train, and then someone from the show is there, and then we're like rushing and switching to these like buses and trains, and then they're going slower than this other guy who's driving, so then he comes and grabs us and then like gets us to the studio, and we get in there, and it's like we had to go on in like 10 minutes.
Holy
it was
shit.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, like literally we've just gotten off the plane, and so like I'm trying to like pull my hair up on the train so you can't tell that I haven't had a shower in like days, you know.
Jet lag.
It was crazy. And so then we get there, and then they're like plugging like translator earpieces into
Oh,
our
man.
Oh
ears,
my
you know?
gosh! Right.
Yeah, and we're like watching this backstage monitor, and meanwhile they haven't told my uncle anything. 'Cause
Right,
they're like,
that's the
"Oh, this
whole
is
premise
great,
of the
it's gonna be a
show.
They want a surprise. Yeah.
Right.
And so he thought he was coming. He didn't bring any family or anything because he just thought he was coming on to say, "Hey, I'm looking for my family."
Right. Right.
So we're waiting back there, and they start airing the segment, and they're like, and like they have this whole, you know, they've done an interview with him at his home, and they show that, and then they're like,
Package.
"Huh?"
No, I'm sorry, never mind.
Chuck's inappropriate comments.
No, it's like, never mind. Keep going.
I thought you were making a penis joke in the middle of
No.
your story.
No.
What better place, really?
What better place? Long lost family, penis.
Speaking of goats, so then they're like, so we found your family, and they like show all of these just photos of all these family members, and he's just kind of like, you can see him like, what, you know, and just
Yeah.
like all these photos with no context, but they're like boom, 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 photos of people, and then they're like, and then they show the video footage that they shot of my parents and me. And then and they're like, New York City, and all of that. And then they're like,
Right. He's like, I struck it rich.
yeah. Right. Well, so then he's like crying.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then they show a video that my sister shot at their home, and then they showed a video that my brother shot in Seattle. And so he's just like losing it because he can't even, you know,
Yeah.
he's like, what's even happening?
Right. He's coming on the show hoping to get like a hint, and he's getting this huge extended family.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they're like, and then they like, you know, and then we all come marching on the stage. And like, if you see the video, what blows my mind about the video is that like the guy sitting next to him just like blows a gasket when this
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Like he just
Yeah.
like, take it because it's like too much to handle. And so
Oh,
immediately,
man.
my uncle's just like bawling, and so then he's
Yeah.
like,
Who was the guy? Who's the guy next to him?
He's just some guy.
Okay, because it's in Russian, so I was a little confused as
Right.
it is. Because you can actually watch it online, and I watched the segment. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful watching like
Yeah.
the family reunite. But yeah, like the dude next to him, I'm like, what? Who are you?
Freaking
Why
out.
are you freaking out?
Where is the thing online? Is it on YouTube or where is it?
It's on the website for the show Wait For Me. But there's a link on my website. That might be the easiest way to find it because it's not easily searchable because it's all in Russian.
Yeah. So yeah, Melissa has actually started a blog. She started a blog as soon as she found this out, right? That you were going to go to Russia and all this stuff, and so it sort of chronicled this experience, and it continues to. And you actually started a new one with the letter correspondence between you and your uncle. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I started just writing it in the news section of my playwriting website, and so it started almost turning into like a blog about Russia, and I was like, maybe this isn't the best place.
This is not the spot for that.
So I started a blog just about this, and so just basically showing because what's happened since then, awesomely. So he speaks no English, and I speak no Russian. No one. My dad can speak a few words of Russian, but you know. But what's really lovely is we exchanged contact information, and I got this like gibberish-filled email from him that he had tried to translate online. It was just kind of like you schnibberdish schnobber, like it was just like
they're straight up gibberish words.
Tetris.
It's beautiful.
And so
Tetris.
It was exactly.
Kremlin, Tetris, borscht,
vodka.
Exactly. So you read it? You read it then?
Yes.
So
I thought it was a shopping list.
That's what I got from it.
And so we've been communicating in Russian, and I've been translating it through Google Translate, and like just translating back and forth, and it's actually working for the most part.
That's good.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing. And so, I mean, the letters are still kind of funny because they're like a little janky, but they function, which I think is pretty phenomenal.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so I want to kind of write about the whole thing as a whole. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, it might be a play, or I think it maybe is longer than a play.
Yeah. Well, because it's still ongoing. I mean, so
it's still ongoing.
You met him on the show, and then has there been anything that sort of happened since then?
Yeah. So we email back and forth. He sent a package for our family just recently. Yeah. So it's a bunch of. This is so cool. So he lives in Chelyabinsk, which is where that meteor hit. Do you remember that Russian meteor?
No
story?
way! That's awesome.
Yeah. He saw it.
What?
He was out driving, and it actually the shockwave smashed the hood of the roof of his car.
What?
Oh my
Isn't
God!
that crazy?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's not. That sucks.
I mean,
his car got smushed,
but he lived. But
yeah,
that's
he
awesome.
saw that shit.
Crazy. So he sent us a bunch of like magnets that have like the meteor like going into the lake. So that's pretty sweet.
So cool.
So we've been communicating, and then also his kids are all like a little older than us, so they're like in their 40s. And then their kids are young, but the oldest of their kids is 16.
Okay.
And we Skyped.
No.
The 16-year-old and I. His name's Misha.
He's not so much into the Google Hangouts. He likes to Skype.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the thing, it's interesting because like in Russia, in
communist Russia,
Google searches you.
Exactly. That's pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
So, like, they don't really do Facebook. I don't know. So they.
Oh, right. I actually we were gonna do a story about it, but instead we did probably another goat fucking story. But there's internationally, there's a lot of fun different websites that we don't know about. You know, like in India, they have like an Indian version of Facebook, and
oh, interesting.
Yeah, so, like China has a different version of Twitter and all that stuff.
Right.
Things.
Right. So there's probably some, Soviet social network, that's what they're on. I don't know.
So you Skyped with a 16-year-old.
I did, and we almost saw each other, which was this whole other. I mean, it's kind of brilliant because this whole thing is all about like delayed gratification. I feel like.
Yeah.
And so I got an email from him, and he was like, "I will be in New York tomorrow."
What?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was doing a homestay in North Carolina and was passing through the airport. But I couldn't make it in time because I was working the next day and I couldn't make it. So then we talked by Skype, and it was adorable. He was like, "So, how was your day?" Like, oh.
So is he in North Carolina right now?
No, he's back in Russia again.
Oh, okay.
So he was coming back through New York, and it was like, okay, he's coming back on a Saturday. He's got a 5-hour layover. We can totally make this happen.
Hanging out.
Brilliant. Yeah, and so he told me he was having trouble figuring out when he was going to be there. But so finally, like the day before, like he gave me the hours, and so I'm like, so I wrote him back, and I was like, okay, just meet me in the baggage claim, and then we'll go together to the other terminal, and we'll hang out there until you have to go through security, because I can't go through security.
Right.
But he didn't see that message, and so yeah. So then he went to the other terminal, and he was waiting for me there while I was looking for him at baggage claim.
Ah, dang it.
I know, and then he was just like, oh well, and went through security.
Oh.
I know, and so we were like,
ships passing in the night.
I know, and so we were like trying to get this like airline person to let us just go through, and she's like, no. And I'm like, can you make an announcement, something? And she's like, no.
Fucking TSA.
I know, and she was like, these days you can't do anything like that, and so
come on,
it's understandable.
If you act like that lady, the terrorists win.
Right. The one nice thing is that she did take a message back for him. Like we wrote, like my dad had made this little family history thing that he's been working on, and so we like wrote a note for him, and she promised she'd take it back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but his reaction, it sounded, was kind of like via email, he was kind of like, yeah, that's great. I got like a history thing. I really want to meet some people, but that's cool.
So, so what are the blogs and stuff that people can go to if they want to follow this story?
So my website is melissagawlowski.com.
Very nice.
Yes, and that links to everything. So if all else fails, you can go to my website and find everything. But then the blog with the letters themselves is lettersfromvlod.blogspot.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's the relatively new one, but it's really
the
fun.
relatively new one. Yeah.
It shows all the Google translations.
Exactly. And I'm hoping, like, I've always kind of wanted to, like, there's such a rich family story on my dad's side with, like, all the crazy wars and...
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And so it's always been something that I've wanted to, document in some way and write down.
Absolutely.
And, so I feel like this is a step in that direction, and that maybe it will be a book.
Hey, wow.
Very cool.
Yeah. Or a play. Plays come easier, so maybe a play.
Yeah, I think it should be a play. That way I can play Vlad someday.
Yes!
I want to play Timo.
You will play too. Done.
Awesome.
Passed.
So, besides working on this and sharing this amazing story, what other projects are you working on? Any other plays or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I've been in school for the last 2.5 years.
Oh, right. Getting your PhD.
Getting my PhD. And
Melissa Gawlowski Pratt.
Doctor.
So, I'm finishing up classes in a couple of weeks. And so I'm very excited that I can go back to, thank you. I'm not going to be a doctor. Then it's dissertation stuff. But now my schedule is opening up, and so I can get back to doing some playwriting, which is fantastic.
Where have you been? Where have you been performed? Like, where has your stuff been performed?
Sure. Well, there's a few companies in New York. Boomerang Theater Company I've worked with a few times, and City Attic Theater, which no longer exists, I worked with several times.
Not your fault.
Not my, you know. Actually, I'll tell you an interesting story.
Here we go.
I closed out 2 theater companies.
What? Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So
Old Mother Hubbard Productions and
that's 3. City Attic Theater. I was the very last play they did, and like people were not in a good way with each other. But it wasn't my play's fault. I swear.
I'm sure it wasn't.
They did.
They went out with a bang.
They did the Francophile, actually, and that was the last thing they ever did. And then a year later, I had a production in Philly of a play of mine called Springtides, and they were like a solid New Works company that had been going for years and had a good reputation. But that play was the last
thing they did. Oh. Look, the live theater it's struggling, okay?
It's true. It's
not easy to make a living in theater.
It's not easy. Well, the one good thing is, so like Boomerang, did my show and they are still going strong. So I do not, spoil all things I touch.
But if people want to, they can maybe read excerpts or commission you to write a play, they can just go to your website, right?
They can totally go to my website. There are a couple of video clips of some projects that I've done.
Cool.
And then there's also synopses of a lot of my scripts there, too.
Cool.
Awesome. So we'll throw all that stuff up on the description thing when we throw it up on iTunes, folks, so you can check it all out there.
Cool.
And yeah, Mel, thank you for being on the show.
So awesome.
So awesome.
Thanks for having me.
More family for Christmas.
Yeah, are you guys planning on getting together anytime
Skype
in the future?
Or what are you guys gonna do? Yeah.
We are going to Skype because Misha's parents are all super psyched about Skyping too. So they're like, Skype us, and so it's just been finding the time, which is really sweet. It's really sweet. And then Misha was like, just make sure that you Skype me and not them because they are not very aware of English. It's very cute.
That's
but I'm hoping, and I really, really, really want to go out there. Like, Uncle Vlad's really been like turning the screws about we're all waiting for you. We want you and your parents and your sister and your brothers and all of their children, all of you to come here.
Despite what the media says about America.
That's right.
We're not all rolling in dough, pal.
Yeah,
Although I did read that he asked you about the economy. Like he was like, I hear U.S. economy not good.
I know.
Is it affecting you?
I know, isn't that sweet?
That is. You're like, no, I've been poor my whole life. That has not changed.
It's called a career choice.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, hopefully sooner than later, like maybe in a year or something, I'll go out there and pay a visit. I would love to meet all these people. It's so cool.
I know, that sounds amazing. Well, we're going to keep reading your blog and staying updated, and we think that our listeners should as well.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on the show, and we will, if you go back to Russia and have updates, we'll bring you back.
We'll have you
Or
on the
if
show.
you
bring
write
the
a play,
family, I'll bring them all with me.
Or, all right, there you go.
We'll have them on the show.
We'll have it from Russia. It'll be awesome.
Yes.
Or you could write a play and put Chuck and I in it, and then we'll have you back on the show. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We'll
Two
come to New
out-of-work
York and perform
actors.
it.
That's what we are.
Thank you, Melissa.
Melissa, thank you so much. It's good to see
Happy
you.
holidays. Yeah, good to see
Happy
you.
holidays.
Wow,
That
Melissa
is
Gawlowski
so
on the
cool.
show.
Very cool stuff.
I kissed her once, just so you know.
What? You did?
Yeah, totally. Don't tell her husband.
Ooh.
We totally made out once.
What? Was this during Vanya?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember. I think it was before Vanya.
Brenna Lehman, do you remember this?
Brenna Lehman, you remember
She's
this?
not on the-
No.
she's not on the show.
It was while I think it was while I was living in Rob Hubbard's basement, which is a dark time for everybody involved. Although that was the highlight. Like that was the. Oh, I hope I made her blush by saying that. Okay,
That's
folks, that is our show.
Yeah, definitely go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/WestXMidwest. Like us on Facebook, and you'll get all the links to join us on the show and stuff about Melissa Gawlowski and all our past guests. Follow us, tweet at us on Twitter @West_X_Midwest. Email us at WestXMidwestPodcast@gmail.com. Watch the show on YouTube. Just search West X Midwest on YouTube and subscribe, stream, download, maybe write a review on iTunes. West X Midwest.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday, Robbie Hubbard.
Happy birthday to our producer, Rob Hubbard.
Yay.
Hey, thanks guys. Thanks audience.
So he wants you to like the show for his birthday.
That's all Rob
Listen
wants is for you to
every
listen to
week.
the show, okay? Every
the
week.
show and like us.
Just boost our numbers, please. That's all I want. remember that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening, and we will see you all next week.
That's right. My name is Chuck Anchori.
I'm Errol Gribble. On behalf of Rob Hubbard, this has been
West.
By Mini Wales. We'll see you next week.
Happy holidays.
Right.
Tips for Jesus.